Hi everyone and welcome to day 3 of Veganuary. Now, how are you getting on? Good, I hope. I really hope you're enjoying it. Today I want to cover a topic which is particularly important for us Brits because it involves the drinking of tea and coffee to a lesser extent, but tea particularly, very, very important. And it's about how to replace milk in a vegan diet. Okay, now I'm sure you will have heard about different kinds of plant milks, but which one to choose and when to use them. Okay, it can be a little bit of a minefield at first and you find yourself trying things and it goes wrong and things curdle and can really put you off, and I think that's a shame because plant milks are really, really nice if you know how to use them and which ones to use and when. So here's just my very brief guide to using plant milks. Now, as a general rule, when I drink tea, I will put soya milk in it. Soya is my personal favourite. Some people don't like it or they have issues with it, which, you know, there are scientific debates about whether it's good for you or not because of the phytoestrogens, but then there are real estrogens in milk, and anyway, I'm not going to get into that today. I'm just going to talk about my personal preferences and what works. So soya is a brilliant all-round plant milk. It's very easy to get hold of. It's cheap to get hold of. The supermarkets do their own brands. So if you're on a budget, you can get hold of a litre of soya milk for about 70 pence, which is doable, which is affordable. You know, it keeps it within the realms of possibility for everyone. Soy milk is what I would put in my tea. Coffee is a little bit tricky with soy milk. Soya has a habit of curdling. It doesn't curdle in the same way that milk does because it's not the same kind of substance. Basically it separates, and I'm not entirely sure what happens to it, but it's not quite right after that and the drink's basically ruined. It's not very nice. You can stir it back up again, but it takes on a bit of a funny flavour and it's just not very pleasant because it looks like brains in a cup. So with coffee, I tend to have more luck with the proper coffee, the filter coffee or cafetiere coffee if I'm going to put soya milk in it. What I recommend you do is actually heat the milk up before you add the coffee to it. Heat the milk up for about 30 seconds if you're having about so much in the bottom of the cup, which is roughly what I would have, maybe less if you're having less milk. I like mine quite milky. Heat the milk up for, for sort of 20-30 seconds beforehand, and then add your coffee and make sure you stir the whole time. Stirring is key to stop it from curdling. You stir like crazy when you're a vegan. Everyone knows it's me in the kitchen because they can hear me going do stirring my tea and my coffee. I do find that soy milk is problematic with instant coffee. It's hit and miss. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it just doesn't work at all. So you do have to be prepared for that. So I tend to drink tea or hot chocolate, which is brilliant. Soy milk is wonderful to make hot chocolate with. And the hot chocolate powders that you buy, don't buy the instant ones that are just water because they all have milk in them, okay? They've all got some sort of milk powder to make them creamy, with very few exceptions. Just buy the regular, like the Cadbury's drinking chocolate that says just add hot milk. That's the one you want. Put it into your soy milk. Your hot soya milk, and it's perfect. It's really nice. Soya is nice and creamy as well, whereas some of the other plant milks can be a little bit more watery, so you might not enjoy it as much, especially if you're transitioning directly from cow's milk to soya. It's going to be, or to any plant milk, it's going to be a bit of a shock, and soya is nice and creamy, and that will work quite nicely. You can buy little cartons of soya cream. Now that doesn't work particularly well in hot drinks, okay? That will curdle, or it will stay in lumps, or it just won't mix in properly. I have friends who've tried it. I've tried it myself. We all have, because you can't seem to buy little cartons of soya or little sachets of soya to carry anywhere with you. Nobody does them, and I don't know why. And I took Outpro to task over this on Facebook the other day, and I was actually saying, why don't you do that? You do the cream in this size, but you don't do the milk in like a handy handbag size for the vegans who have to carry their own. Could you please take this carton, fill it with milk and rebrand it, and then we'll all buy it quite happily. They haven't made any promises, but anyway, hopefully that's something that they'll do in due course, but right now it's not something you can find. So you have to be, you really have to think ahead. If you're going to somebody else's house, get a little bottle and fill it with plant milk and take it with you. It's the only way, otherwise you'll end up drinking black coffee wherever you go, and that gets really old really fast. Unless you happen to like black coffee, which I don't particularly. I like mine nice and creamy and delicious without any cruelty. Almond milk next. It's not my personal favourite. Some people really like it in tea. I find it makes the tea taste a little bit too nutty, too almondy, and it's not as sweet as I would like it to be. It's almost savoury. So I'm not a huge fan of it in tea. It's all right on cereal. But again, it's got sort of like quite a deep nutty flavour that you get from the almond. So try it and see what you think. It's not quite as thick and creamy as soya, so you won't get the same effect, and you may find that your drinks are a little bit watery, or you may find that you have to use more almond milk than you would dairy milk. For example, I mean, with any plant milk, you will probably have to use more in quantity than you would have done with cow's milk, because it's just not as creamy. And if you want the same kind of consistency or the same colour, you're going to have to add more. So your proportions are going to change there as well. Moving on, we have rice milk. Very often rice milk is blended with something else, because rice milk itself is very watery. I don't put it in tea, it's just far too watery for tea and coffee for my taste personally. You might really like it. I really enjoy it on cereal, especially chocolate cereals, that works nicely. And it is very nice if you're making some sort of milkshake, so a chocolate milkshake or a strawberry milkshake. It works very, very nicely with those because it's not too thick and it's actually quite thirst quenching, so that's quite enjoyable. Next you have things like hemp milk and oat milk and, oh goodness, many others, cashew milk, hazelnut milk. I haven't tried them all. Hazelnut milk is good for hot chocolate. That's rather awesome. In tea, it's enjoyable, but it does taste of hazelnuts, so you're basically drinking hazelnut tea. Same for coconut milk. Coconut milk is lovely, but it makes your drink taste of coconut, so you need to be aware of that, and you'd better like it or it's not going to go well. There is a range, more than one range to be fair. You can buy professional plant milks. Alpro do a professional range which can be bought from cash and carries like Booker's, Macro, if you're lucky enough to be able to go there, or you can probably buy it on Amazon if you can't go to one of those stores. And basically they are plant milks which have been processed in a certain way so that they are less likely to curdle in hot drinks, which is really useful. The coconut milk is very nice. I can highly recommend that one. Again, see what works for you, see what works for your budget, see what you enjoy. Try them all is probably the best thing I could say. Try them all, but be aware that the organic ones tend to curdle more than the non-organic. I don't know why that would be. There's obviously some sort of additive they put in the non-organic ones that make them more stable. I don't know. Go with whatever works for you, because remember, you don't have to buy everything organic just because you're vegan, all right? Vegan does not mean organic, although a lot of people seem to think it does. Certainly doesn't for me, because I would be completely broke just trying to buy my food. I can't afford that. Not everyone can. And I always think the most important thing is to help people transition to vegan. You know, if you want to be a gold star vegan and be organic, great, okay, but not everyone can do that. It's not practical and it's not affordable for everyone. Whereas being vegan is very much affordable and actually quite easy for everyone. So the best thing I can say is try all the plant milks, see which ones work for you, see which ones don't work for you. Maybe just buy one carton of each, or, you know, buy a couple at a time so you don't have too many. The UHT ones, so the ones that you find on the regular shelves, generally are cheaper than the ones that you'll find in the fridge section, in the chiller cabinets. I don't know why, because they last longer and they seem to be exactly the same as far as I can tell. Don't know. Again, try it, see what works for you, and then hopefully you'll be able to have a lovely cup of tea or coffee and you won't miss it. And again, it will be another stage in your transition, another thing that you've got cracked, and you'll know what you like. So yeah, tea and coffee, extremely important. I mean, where would we be in this country without our cups of tea? I would not be able to cope, that's for sure. And I've reached the stage now where I prefer tea with soya than anything else. At first I didn't particularly like it and I kind of had to get used to it, but you do, your taste buds adapt. I'm always saying this, your taste buds adapt. You change your taste, you get used to it, and after a while you start to prefer it. So don't worry if it all seems a little bit strange or if it doesn't quite taste right at the moment. It will in due course, don't worry about it. Just stick with it, find the one you like. If you've got any questions or if you want any tips, hints, help, please leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Tell me things that you'd like me to talk about that will help you on your journey to veganism, and I'll see you in the next video.